All right, so customer dropped off a new set of wheels to be mounted and balanced, and before they get mounted and put on the vehicle, they decided to bring them to me to have them ceramic coated. So this is just kind of be a um, a chat video. I'll talk to you while I get these things prepped, and I'll probably only do one wheel. Once you see one, I mean the other three, it's going to follow suit. It's going to be the same way. But we'll chat and we'll get this wheel prepped and work on the application. Uh, these are 17 by 9s, brand new out of the box. So they don't need to be strip washed. They don't need to have any kind of alkaline wash, um, no iron remover, anything like that. Just me handling them and getting them out of the box. I got fingerprints all over them, and whoever else boxed them is, the same way. So, what we're going to do, we're going to use some P&S paint prep, and P&S is a product that we keep on hand. As a matter of fact, with the products, reflective car care products, and P&S products are the two biggest ones that we actually use. Um, so we actually have almost a full setup of P&S products. So this is a really good product uh, for prepping any kind of painted surface, specifically cars, but wheels too. If it's got clear coat on it, if it's painted, you just spray this on. Make sure you thoroughly and liberally clean the wheel and get it as clean as possible. We can start that process. The idea is to get these things as clean as possible. You don't want any kind of fingerprints or contaminants, anything like that, that's going to obstruct the coating when you apply it. So basically this stuff, if these wheels had any kind of wax or polish or sealant or anything like that, which they don't, but if they did, this would aid in removing that, because with ceramic coating, um, that's not going to bond. It's not going to bond well to anything that's on the surface, whether it be a sealant or wax or spray wax, or really even if it's been washed with soap that's got any kind of additives in it, such as wax or gloss enhancers or whatever. So you want to make sure that everything is clean and prepped well before you apply the coating. And this customer requested a 2-year coating, and like I explained with all the coatings that we offer, 2 years means up to 2 years. Yes, it can last 2 years. It can last longer than 2 years. Um, that's also going to be dependent on how you treat it, how you maintenance it. Um, if you're running these wheels or the vehicle, whatever the case may be, through the automatic car wash, and you're going to use detergent-based soaps and things like that, um, it's not going to last as long. I don't know how long it'll last. It really just depends. Every situation's different, but you definitely want to stay away from automatic car washes, cheap car soaps, degreasers, Simple Green, stuff like that, because that is going to degrade your coating. So essentially, once these are coated and cured, what you're going to do is wash these regularly with soap and water, and make sure it is a pH neutral soap, which we sell, so it doesn't diminish the coating. Also, it is important to refresh the surface with a topper spray ever so often. We actually have something called CSL, and CSL is it's ceramic spray light. CSL is a spray topper, so it is an SiO2 based. It's not a quick detailer, but for lack of a better way of explaining it, you would use it as a quick detailer. Spray it on, and you basically do what you're just watching me do on this wheel. You just spray it on, wipe it in with a microfiber, and then use another microfiber, go behind it, or flip your towel over and buff it off. You'll immediately feel it start to get slick, and that's what you want. So before I started the video, there's 3 more of these behind you, and this towel is a little saturated, so we're actually going to grab a fresh towel and make sure that we clean up any kind of lint or anything that I didn't give that second pass. So we want to make sure to do the back of the barrel of the wheel while we've got it, because we're going to coat that too, because the wheel's new and now's the perfect time to do so, to help keep that from getting brake dust build up in there and to keep it from getting dirty as quickly as a non-coated wheel. You want to make sure that there isn't anything on the surface of the wheel before you start your process. Coating. Now the other wheels, they were in pretty darn good shape, and this one is too, but along the edges, I don't know if it's, I mean, obviously these hasn't been, or they're new, they shouldn't be, have already been mounted, but there are some, not scratches, but just some surface marks on the edge of the lip. Can probably take care of that by hand, actually, without even getting out polisher. I don't think that's going to take much. Yeah, now's the time to do that. Let's go ahead and take care of that. All right, so before we coat these wheels, or this wheel, we're going to see if we can remove some of these marks on the edge of this wheel. They're not bad, but if you're going to coat it, now's the time to get rid of them before you coat it. So, what I'm using is Griot's correcting cream. So what this is a polish, pretty aggressive polish actually. Um, you can use it by hand. Works good with a DA because we use it. We use it with a DA all the time. But we don't. I don't think we're going to need that for this because this is pretty mild. The biggest thing is you want to use, if you're going to take out defects before you ceramic coat something, you want to make sure whatever you're using does not have any fillers in it. And by that I mean like acrylic fillers or wax, all in ones especially. That's a no go before you put ceramic coating on because you're going to have bonding issues. So you want something that is um, just a compound, just a polish, nothing else. And then after you use that, you're going to want to go back over it with the panel prep. In this case, the PNS panel prep or paint prep, as they call it, and wipe down any oils or anything that this leaves behind. So, like I said, I don't think that this is going to be something that is going to really take a lot to get out. It's just kind of some surface defects. I would assume in the packaging process would be my guess. Or maybe after they've already packaged it, maybe the cardboard rubbed up against it, or I don't know. But not a big deal. Should come out by hand. And then we will wipe this off. And then we can go further with our coating. It's not really on one spot. It's kind of all around the wheel, really. Anybody else is probably not going to notice this anyway, but I'm going to notice it. And if I'm doing it, I'll make sure it's right. So why not do it now? Just make sure that it's done correctly. There we go. Like I said, it wasn't anything that was major, but you got brand new wheels, so why not go ahead and get them dialed in before you spend all this time and money on coating them. That's better. All right, this rag is already pretty soaked with paint prep. Honestly, you could probably coat right over the top of what I just did, but for another 30 or 45 seconds of just doing a wipe down and make sure that you remove anything else that it might leave behind. It's worth the extra few seconds or minute, whatever. All right. So, we shouldn't need paint prep anymore, but we'll set that aside. We'll set this aside, and you probably can't see this bin, but there's a clean and a dirty bin right here. So we'll just go ahead and get rid of those. And clean up the polish that I got all over the table. All right, so now we've got a wheel that's prepped and some of the defects that was there removed. So it's time to coat this thing. Let's see if I can do this where you guys can see it. So it's probably going to want to roll. I don't know how well this is going to work on camera, but we'll give it a go. Let's do this. That way I can stand. That'll work. Let's do that. So, customer requested 2-year ceramic coating. This is what we got here. This is our 2-year ceramic coating. So we'll get a clean applicator, which in this case, I've actually already used this on 3 wheels, but it's still clean because we're going to use it on the last one. I've already done the other 3 that matches this one. So you don't have to wear gloves when you put on ceramic coating, but I highly recommend it, because if you don't, you're going to get your hands are going to be super slick and feel really weird if you get that coating, when you get that coating on your fingers, because you're going to. And the other thing, it's really probably not good for you to get it all over you. But just keeping your fingers, like your oils of your skin and stuff, off the wheel is really the biggest thing. So that's really the biggest thing why you want to wear gloves. All right, so we got 2 clean towels, and what we're gonna do, so this stuff flashes fairly quick. You could probably do the whole wheel and then go back and wipe it off. I wouldn't suggest doing that. So we're gonna load up our applicator pad here. Pretty generous for our first application. And then we're gonna do the lip first. Coverage is key. Actually, prep is key. Coverage right behind that. Less is more when it comes to ceramic coating. You're not going to be able to see it from the camera of where it's at right now, but you can see where it's wet and where it's not, where I applied it. So generally what I did with the other 3 is I done the lip and the exterior bead, and then we're going to do center cap, and this is somewhat of an intricate wheel, so take your time and manipulate your applicator to actually get in between spokes. There's also some indentions here where the lug nuts will go through. So you want to make sure that you get those areas as well. And there is kind of a tricky spot in these that have another indention. So go ahead and knock this out. You can see they're actually applying this of where you've been. Generally with our second year, 2-year coating, flash time is going to be, you've got 30 seconds to, a solid minute, and really a little over that. I don't particularly like to go much longer than that. And we're going to start taking off where we initially applied. And you can immediately feel a much slicker surface. Not only that, some coatings don't actually amp up the gloss. Ours does. Again, prep is key, and these are new wheels, so they're going to look, these should look good right out of the box anyway, but you can't apply this kind of coating, any coating for that matter, over a set of wheels that are just hammered and expect it to look good, because that's not what ceramic's going to do. It's more of a protection than it is of anything else, but yes, it will add some gloss to it too. And for those that are just starting to learn about ceramic, basically what this is liquid glass. So applying it is obviously in the liquid form, and as it cures and as it hardens, which is going to be about 24 hours to where it fully cures, it will become for one way to compare it, another layer of clear coat on the wheel, or as I mentioned earlier, liquid glass. You're putting a layer on top of what's already there, and it's going to add protection. It's going to add some resistance to scratches. Yes, you can still get your wheel scratched or your paint on your car, but this will harden, and it will help resist scratches, rock chips to a certain degree. The biggest thing is self-cleaning. You're going to be able to wash these wheels with soap and water and rinse them off, and they're going to be pretty darn clean. You shouldn't have to use wheel cleaner. Don't use wheel cleaner, because if it is not a pH neutral wheel cleaner, you're going to strip your ceramic coating. So we've got the lip done, we've got the bead on the outside done, we've got the center cap done around the lug areas. Spent a little extra time on that. Now we're going to do the face of the wheels and then go in between the spokes, and we can actually do that in one application. We'll have enough time where it won't harden and we can get it wiped off. what I like to do is concentrate on one specific area or section, whereas in this case, just worried about the face of the wheels. And then we'll come back and we will knock out in between the spokes. Now, this particular product that I'm using is not something that we retail yet. Although this one is fairly user friendly, we don't sell it. We offer it as a service, but we don't sell it yet. Generally, the more, not always, but generally the more you go up in protection, as far as 4-year, 6-year, you start getting into the crazy stuff like 8-year and all this other stuff. The application process can get tougher. It generally gets more finicky to apply and or remove. This 2-year coating's not too bad. It's pretty user friendly. The biggest thing is you don't want high spots, because if you do get a high spot, it is difficult to get out once it cures. Generally, you have to polish it to get it out. Sometimes you can get it out by hand, kind of like what we did on the ring of the wheel or the bead of the wheel. You could probably get a compound or polish and probably remove a high spot, but when you do that, you have to reapply. So it's really best if you can knock it out the first time. Check your work and make sure everything is level and fully covered, and you won't have to go back over it. Now, as I was saying, it's 24-hour cure time, so you do not want to get this wet for 24 hours because it will compromise the coating. So this will harden. All right, so let's put the cap on this for a second. And what I'm going to suggest to the customer on these wheels is that he purchase our 16-ounce bottle of CSL, our ceramic spray light, which is basically a topper or a maintenance spray, if you will, for ceramic. It has SiO2 in it. It is insanely slick, and if you will use it as we suggest, just every 3 months on a ceramic coating, whether it be wheels or paint, whatever, you're going to extend and preserve your coating on your car. So in other words, if you buy a 2-year coating from us, if you buy a process from us where we detail the vehicle and do decontamination, clay process, strip wash, panel prep, paint correction, and we've got everything dialed in, and we ceramic coat it, that 2-year protection is much more likely to last that full 2 years or even longer if you use our maintenance spray, because it will put a sacrificial layer on top of what we've already applied, meaning that sacrificial layer will take the beating and the abuse from the elements and the dirt and the washing and this and that for the actual coating wheel. Plus, it adds a ton of slickness a ton of gloss. So pretty awesome product. You can use it as a standalone product. I've actually applied it to my personal vehicles without ceramic coating, and the stuff is crazy slick. But it does work really well with an existing coating. Yeah, these are looking nice. All right, let's get the light. So we're checking for high spots, basically places that look like the coating is not rubbed in all the way, because it's not. And you've got some time after you apply it to get that the way it needs to be before it completely cures. And as you can see, I'm touching up several places. Part of it's because it's a black wheel. If this was a silver wheel, it's not going to show the places, and you're just not going to see it. It's pretty good. All right, let's do the barrel. This is definitely the easiest part of the wheel, especially since it's new, because it's not dirty. Depends how OCD you want to be. If you want the back of the wheel detailed, it's certainly not something that's a have-to thing. But as I mentioned, since it's clean and since it's prepped, now it's definitely the time to do it. We can hit the back of these spokes too. That way, when you pull your wheels off a year from now, or 6 months from now, or I don't know, 2 years from now, you clean the wheels properly, a bunch of junk stuck to them that won't ever come off. Oh yeah, much slicker and glossy. What I like to do when I'm done, or pretty much done, get another clean towel and just kind of do one final pass just to make sure that everything looks like it's supposed to. And these wheels will be protected for a solid 2 years, provided the customer will properly maintain them. So that's pretty much it. Not much to it. Ceramic coating wheels is definitely important, I think, and worth the money when you do get a new set of wheels. When they're new, that's the time to do it. So we're going to let this cure along with the other 3 that I've done off camera for 24 hours. And after that, the customer can pick them up and have tires mounted and be ready to roll.